You think you know pressure? You think you've seen a man pushed to the absolute edge of his sanity? Today, we are opening the Shadow Files to examine the raw, unbridled psychological chaos of an iShowSpeed virtual FIFA World Cup scream. We're applying a dead-serious docudrama lens to this digital battlefield. We'll analyze the psychological toll, the intense highs, and the crushing lows of a simulated 2026 group stage match between Portugal and Colombia. It's high stakes, it's hilarious, but more importantly, it exposes the terrifying power of super fandom. To truly comprehend the absolute meltdown we're about to witness, you have to understand the sheer magnitude of the stakes. The single driving force behind Speed's entire broadcast boils down to this one exact quote: "If Portugal wins today, it will be Ronaldo versus Messi." In his mind, and to the millions watching live, this isn't just some video game. It's a universe-altering checkpoint. A win here means a glorious, easy path to the ultimate dream, settling the great debate between Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi on the biggest virtual stage ever created. He was so confident. The script was already written. But here's the pivotal question. What happens when the AI completely ignores that beautiful script? What happens when Colombia decides they aren't just NPCs programmed to roll over for Ronaldo? That is exactly where our story shifts from a confident victory lap straight into a high-anxiety, terrifying sports thriller. Section 1. Colombia's unexpected early pressure, the yellow wall. The contrast between expectation and reality hits like a freight train right from kickoff. Speed expected utter Portuguese dominance, an easy stroll to Messi, ultimate fan confidence. But the harsh reality? Colombia applies relentless, suffocating pressure. The virtual crowd is deafening, leading Speed to literally panic over an intimidating yellow stadium, making it feel like a hostile away game. You can see his confidence evaporating in real time. Suddenly he's sweating, frantically staring at his chat, begging for backup against the virtual Colombian fans. The illusion of control is slipping away. And then the stress becomes physical. Mid-match, Speed catches a glimpse of his own camera feed and asks, "Why do I always look like I'm sweating?" He actually asks his chat if he looks nervous before instantly admitting, "I look nervous. I am kind of nervous, bro." It is a stunning psychological and physical toll. This digital pressure cooker has entirely bypassed the screen, triggering a genuine biological fight-or-flight response. This game is supposed to be relaxing, right? But for Speed, it's a legitimate cardiovascular nightmare. When logic completely fails, pure desperation takes the wheel. To combat Colombia's dominance, Speed resorts to a chaotic two-step recovery plan. Step 1. He calls on a viewer named Jamal to type motivational speeches to the Portuguese fans in chat to shift the energy. When that doesn't immediately manifest a goal, he escalates to Step 2. He grabs a dog named Carlos and literally attempts to force a Cristiano Ronaldo jersey over the poor animal's head, praying Carlos will act as a mystical conduit for good luck. It's unhinged, it's chaotic, and it perfectly demonstrates how extreme fandom completely overrides human logic. Section 2. Ronaldo's near masterclass moments, the agony of the miss. What follows is a tragic symphony of virtual heartbreak. First, a Cristiano Ronaldo free kick. Speed is absolutely convinced this is the turning point, shouting, "I thought he was making that," but the ball sails wide. Next, pure chaos erupts as Ronaldo attempts a stunning bicycle kick, but the game's camera angle completely obscures it. This sends Speed into an agonizing frenzy of hype mixed with immediate fury. And finally, João Felix gets a golden, wide-open opportunity only to fumble with Speed dubs an absolute masterclass banger mate. With every single near miss, you can practically hear the streamer's heart rate spiking into the red zone. Which brings us to this incredibly raw quote. Right as that elusive bicycle kick attempt was happening, Speed literally screams, "I'm about to pee my pants." You absolutely cannot fake that level of investment. This visceral reaction perfectly captures the zenith of his terror and hype. His physical body simply does not know how to process the adrenaline of a digital Ronaldo attempting acrobatics in a 0-0 group stage game. Section 3. The offside heart attack. Extra time chaos. The clock hits 95 minutes, and the absolute worst-case scenario unfolds. Colombia seemingly scores the game-winning goal. By 95:30, Speed is in utter, soul-crushing despair, later admitting he was legitimately about to cry. But then, at 96 minutes, the game triggers a dramatic VAR review. The video assistant referee. The suspense hangs heavy in the room as the digital ref checks the monitor. Finally, at 96:30, the call comes down. offside confirmed. The goal is disallowed. It's a heart-stopping emotional roller coaster crammed into just 90 seconds of live broadcasting. For the uninitiated, let's examine the clinical definition of the rule that just saved Speed's sanity. Offside is a rule penalizing an attacking player who is closer to the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second-last opponent. When you place this incredibly dry geometric rulebook definition right next to the screaming, crying, unhinged reaction of a streamer in his bedroom, the comedic contrast is just absolute perfection. His entire emotional well-being rested on this cold, technical geometry. And as the replay explicitly shows the Colombian striker's boot just millimeters over that invisible line, Speed delivers the ultimate defining punchline of the match. If only he had smaller feet. It is the perfect summary of the chaotic relief that comes from surviving a disaster by the slimmest of margins. A digital shoe size, literally a few pixels, was the only thing standing between Portugal and total elimination.
Section 4. The brutal bracket reality. A disappointing draw. But the consequences of this 0-0 draw are monumental. Speed's dream scenario was so simple, right? Win the group, secure the easy side of the bracket, cruise to the finals, and face Messi. But the actual bracket locked in by this tie is an absolute gauntlet of death. To get anywhere near the final now, his virtual Portugal must survive Spain in the very first round. And if they somehow survive that, they immediately have to battle the unstoppable powerhouse of France. The dream of a smooth, easy tournament has been utterly shattered.
You can literally hear the crushing weight of reality settling into his voice. He stares at the screen, completely defeated, and mutters, "Why we're going against Spain the first game, then we're going against France, why Portugal, why?" It flawlessly conveys the sheer physical exhaustion of being a superfan. He put his heart, his sweat, and his poor dog Carlos on the line for 90 grueling virtual minutes, only to be rewarded with the hardest possible path forward. Which leaves us with one final haunting question. If a simple 0-0 group stage draw against Colombia induced this level of panic, sweat, and near tears, can the virtual Portugal, and more importantly, iShowSpeed's cardiovascular system, actually survive the hardest path to the final against Spain and France? Was this entire emotional roller coaster just a warm-up for the real nightmare ahead? We'll uncover that soon. Subscribe to the channel Shadow Files right now if you are serious about upgrading your mindset and escaping the Matrix. Drop a like, leave a comment, share this breakdown, and get ready, because you do not want to miss part 2.